friends were back at it.
Like it or not.
Yeah. Dwayne,
Yeah.
the Taliban. Have you been following the Taliban in Afghanistan?
Yeah, off and on. I'm not a student of them, but I know what
They carried out.
they're not exactly the nice guys.
No, they carried out a double public execution Thursday at a stadium in the country's southeast, where relatives of the victims of stabbing deaths fired guns at two convicted men while thousands of people watched. Another day, the Taliban held a public execution on Monday of a man convicted of murder in the northern Afghanistan as thousands watched at a sports stadium, the third such death sentence to be carried out in 5 days. The execution took place, blah, 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 where the brother of a murdered man shot the convict 5 times with a rifle. And this is the 5th public execution since they took over. The Taliban began carrying out severe punishments in public, execution, floggings, and stonings shortly after coming to power. What, that Taliban, that's a nice outfit. Treating the people well.
Oh, yeah. You know what Taliban means?
No.
Student.
Student, really? Wow.
Student of the Quran.
Well, is that in the Quran? I guess it is.
It is.
Eye for an eye and a stone.
Yeah, absolutely.
And all that stuff, yeah.
You are, by the Quran, mandates that you annihilate the infidels. I mean, if you're a non-believer. You and me. And Andrew.
The Talibansies, if they come knocking.
Yeah, Andrew's done.
Oh, man.
I don't know who's going to do our show, but by the way, this what did they say? 260 today?
Number 260, yeah.
Well, if the Taliban don't get him, we may get to 265 or 266. Who knows?
You know, if we really throw it into overdrive, we could hit 300 here at some point.
Yeah, clock's ticking. You don't know. My uncle used to say, "I'm getting so old, I don't buy green bananas anymore." Either. So.
Beautiful. Somebody yelled at former President Trump, "What's the first things you're going to do? Opening day, He said, "Shut down the border. Drill, baby, drill. Take care of crime and rebuild the cities." On the first day.
Yeah, on the first day.
There's still a little hyperbole here.
A little bit.
Dwayne.
Yes, sir.
If you're going to retire.
What do you mean if I'm going to retire?
Well,
I'm not going to unretire, I'll tell you that.
Oh, okay. If you were to relocate, they have identified the top 10 best places to retire abroad. They take in a real bunch of criteria. Number 1, Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Number 2, Portugal. That's been well known for a while. Number 3, Mexico. I'm surprised they're that high.
Yeah, well, I see that. The only time without, I suspect we get the idea that Mexico's so dangerous everywhere, the cartel's going to chop your head off and leave you on the streets. It's certain areas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we know people that got property out in the western. Not Cozumel.
Yeah.
I can't think of that.
The western mountainous section.
Yeah. About a Bay of California Bay and all out
Baja. Yeah. Baja, California.
Yeah.
I have a friend of mine that retired in California too. He's never come back.
No, it's beautiful, I guess.
Yeah.
It's big bucks. There's a
He
lot
did
of
come
big
back
money
once,
out there.
But I talked to him, and he loves it down there. Number 4, Panama.
Yeah, maybe now.
Yeah. Number 5, Spain.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6, Ecuador. I'm kind of leery of that one.
Mm,
Number 7, Greece.
yeah.
Number 8, Malaysia. Number 9, France. And number 10, Colombia. Colombia has a very good educational system.
Yeah, years ago, it used to be Poland.
Yeah,
There was
Poland.
a lot of people, particularly people that came from were Polish descent, and they already had some of the language skills.
Yeah.
It was a very reasonable cost of living, and it was very comfortable, and they could buy a lot of property, and they could.
The English language is one of the criteria, and also health care. And,
Exactly.
yeah. So anyway, and the percentage of households owning stock set a new record recently at 58%.
I saw that.
Yeah, that's good. That's very healthy.
Yeah, they said seniors right now are better off than they have ever been due to rising real estate, because so many of them own the home already, and stock prices and stuff there.
The real estate is a two-edged sword, though,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
because you could sell your house for a ton of money,
But where am I going to?
a hell of a lot more than you paid for it.
Yeah, oh my God.
But where would you go live?
That's the whole point.
That's it. You don't want to, at your point in life, I feel the same way. I don't want to go live in a shoebox.
No.
But what choice do you have? Look at the price of condos.
Yeah, oh my God. They're crazy for what you got there.
I-
And then when you add a condo fee on top of it,
Yeah. Well, I get the numbers here someplace, I think, but this is the sort of an estimate. Was homes sold in Massachusetts for $565. That was the median rate.
yeah.
Condos, $407. Well, now, in the big scheme of things, that's not a hell of a lot of difference.
No, I think that your figures have gone up since then too. Both
Well,
of them.
that was supposedly last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because look at even the ones they build around here, they're all 500,000 plus.
I was talking to a real estate agent yesterday who told me that he sold a house up in Bellingham, a condo. He said, nice condo, it's $279, all cash. So there you go.
They're
There's a
available.
downsizer coming in and says, what do you take for cash?
The ones next to you down there,
Yeah.
I don't know what I forgot what they call them, but it's all right. You see in the paper, the real estate transfer, they're almost 700,000 or something like that, or 700,000 already.
And they started out in the low fives.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that wasn't that long ago. And the ones up on Meeting House Hill, they straight up. A wonderful investment.
That would have been.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to discourage you, but I think you should reconsider your spring break plans going to Miami Beach. Or South Beach as they call it now.
We're not welcome down there. Don't
You are
come.
not welcome. They have yanked back the welcome mat. How many of you guys out there are going? Let's see a show of hands. I see Thelma still thinks she's still going.
Thelma's doing better.
Yep.
She's back in.
Thelma, you got to be careful this year. But they have some new restrictions, and they're not putting up with the crap they put up the last couple of years.
Uh-oh. Really?
Oh, they got, if you're going to park, you're going to drive in, you're going to park your car, the minimum they're going to charge you is $30. At 6 o'clock, parking goes to $100 minimum. If you, in very strict towing, you get towed minimum $516 to get your car back. That's assuming you get it back in 24 hours.
Otherwise,
It's $716, and you wait another day, it's going to be $916.
if
No
you wait
ifs,
another
ands,
day, the towing company's going
Own
to
it.
own it.
no ifs, ands, or buts.
Well, you know
All
what?
beach accesses are closed except for 2 or 3. There's 3 in South Beach. All of them will be manned. Everybody will be searched. Of course, no booze, no guns, no speakers,
They're taking all the fun out of being young.
no footballs, nothing rowdy, nothing loud,
I can't wait to
and
see
they're going to
the
close
brawls.
at 6 o'clock. Nobody on the beach after 6 o'clock.
Where do they go at 6:05?
That's the whole idea. They don't want you there. They're not going to make it easy for you to have a good time. But it had gotten really bad.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it had gotten take your life in your hands type bad.
Tell me something, Wayne. Did you, as a young man and a hellraiser, did you enjoy the mob scenes?
No.
No.
not
To
at all.
me, I would rather have a jackhammer banging on my head.
I have said for a long time, you watch Mardi Gras in New Orleans. Watch the things on TV when they have things with Mardi Gras. I don't care if it's cops or whoever they're showing. What do you see? You see 85% men of 18 to 25-year-old drunk and acting stupid and bad. You know, the women are usually up on the balcony or something and doing something they shouldn't be doing, throwing beads down, where the rest of it's all guys, and they're all drunk. And what fun is being in a bunch of
they're
men?
all in a testosterone
That's right.
overload.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what it is. But we used to go to Virginia Beach every year,
Yeah.
and then it started to change,
Yep.
and it got to we didn't go back.
You can't.
No,
There's nothing there for us.
not now, but
No.
it used to be a great place to go.
Oh, yeah.
with
A family place.
That's right. We with another couple, we go down with our kids and their kids. They had a good time. There was a lot of things to do, and then it started getting, I don't know how to put it, racial, and it got dangerous. Now we've always stayed, and I see the place is still there. I just happened out of curiosity this past week, went online to see what, and it's all fixed up, even redone. It was called the Sandcastle. It was right off where the main pier goes out. And it was a beautiful place. It was nice and it was reasonable. And it still is. It was what, 2 or 3 put down was a Hawaiian themed hotel. And you meet people, you're there for a week or two, and you see the same people on the beach, and still you get to know them. And they had been down to Waki Waki or whatever that Hawaiian themed place was, and they had to leave. They were threatened in the hallway that this is not your kind of place anymore. This is our kind of place. So they were threatened, and they said, we had to get the hell out of there. And we complained at the front desk. They said, we can't do anything about it.
Oh, that's great.
Huh? We have no control over this.
Wow.
And you could see it happening.
Dwayne, that is what is wrong with our country.
Yep.
The thugs, the thieves, the bandits
taken over the
are
institution.
running the show.
Yep.
The drug dealers.
But
And-
the same thing happened to South Beach.
Yep.
It got too rough. It got dangerous.
Is this the turning of the tide? Are we going to start to push back?
I don't know.
I'd like to think it would be.
Yeah, we have. Well, South Beach is pushing back.
Yeah.
It should be interesting
Yeah.
this year.
To see what happens.
Yeah,
to
because
them.
everything goes. The prices jump. Don't quote me. I think it's March 17th or 16th, whatever that weekend is. 'cause that's the big,
St. Patty's Day.
yeah, that's the big college spring break day.
Right.
So then it skips a week, and then the next week again is another big group of college breaks.
Mm.
And they're just the companies have pulled out. They used to sponsor, Budweiser would be a sponsor for this, and some other company would be a sponsor. They don't have any sponsors this year.
Wow.
There are no organized activities.
We have got to push back against crime.
Yeah,
We have got to support the police. We have got to make sure that when you bring criminals in, they get sentenced appropriately and not released on their own personal recognizance.
I don't know what Virginia Beach is like now, but it was a fun place. It was a nice place to go to. The water was great. It was rough, but Greg, my son, and I, we both liked body surfing, so it was perfect, And we got to know another couple there. They were from South Carolina someplace. And they said, well, my kids like it here, but I don't like it here because the water's too cold. She says, it's always 74 or 75 degrees here, and it's so rough. She says, I like Myrtle Beach better. It's warm, it's 80-something, and it's flat.
Oh, great.
And I said, you ought to swim at Cape Cod if
Yeah.
you think this is cold. To us, it was warm.
I had a distributor, had some business in Wilmington, Virginia. No, Wilmington, North Carolina. Oh, another story for another day.
Okay.
But I was someplace in Virginia, way out on the water, and they had a great restaurant there. Oh, it was really good. I'll remember it. So I have a question for you.
Yep, go ahead.
Ed, Vince McMahon, the disgraced
WWE
boss
guy?
of WWE,
Yep.
Ed Grant, he spent quite a bit of time having sex with a former employee,
Yeah, I did remember something about that.
Janelle Grant. And she said she was abused and sexually exploited by McMahon while he was the chief executive. She alleged that McMahon lured her with promises of career advancement, and he allegedly exploited her and trafficked her to other men in the company. So she signed a non-disclosure agreement in 2022 with McMahon, who paid her $3 million to remain silent and never discuss their relationship or disparage him. Well, McMahon stupidly stopped making payments.
Oh, my. I know what the next
You
step
know what
is.
the next step is? She's gone public.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I know that an attractive man like you,
Yeah, or us. We
Yeah.
have a certain image to...
we've been hit on by females
Oh, my God, it's...
who wanted to exploit us.
Yep.
I've never had a $3 million offer to cover it up, though. What the devil are we doing wrong?
I don't know. The best I ever got is once in a while you buy you a beer when we were on a bowling league, but that was it.
Or a hot dog at the ball game.
Yeah.
$3 million.
Well, you know, $3 million to Vince McMahon is not that big a deal.
And for him then to back out of it.
Yeah,
and
and then whine if she's going to come after you.
No, she's getting $1.5 million, probably. Her lawyer's getting half back.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But I don't know.
Who was the guy in that well, it used to be WF, and they made him change it.
Yeah.
He was bald, and he did a lot of the announcing.
Yeah.
I used to think that was the boss, but he wasn't the boss.
No. I know exactly who you're talking about. Mean Gene Okerlund.
That's who it was, yeah.
I had to sit through the WWEF years with 3 boys.
Oh, I can imagine that.
And afterwards, Peter would want to wrestle with me. and I remind him of this to this day. But I always ask him, because I'd have to lay on the floor and he'd have to jump on me,
yeah.
and punch me and everything. And he said, I'm Starman and you're Mouse Man.
Yeah.
And I always said, how come I always had to be Mouse Man? How come I couldn't be Starman?
Today, on Wednesday, last night, there's this, what is that? AEW wrestling. They're like the WWE, but they're a different group. They're out of Atlanta, I think.
Okay.
And I don't remember what the first 3 initials are. They're actually.
It's all elite wrestling.
You're right. Our star producer there just told us it was all elite wrestling, AEW. Now, everybody knows. Well, first of all, you said it's fake. Well, it's not fake. It's staged. Because they actually do the tricks, the
Oh, yes.
stuff that they
And
jump
they end
around
up
and
in arthritis ward,
yeah, and
broken
they break
bone
bones
ward,
and so they're extremely well in shape and
gotta
athletes.
be.
Oh my God! But watch the crowd.
Oh.
And I said to Monica, I would expect that if you looked out that crowd and say, all right, shut your eyes and who's out there, it would be 8 to 15-year-old boys mostly. It's not.
It's older guys.
It's
And there's women there.
yeah, and the crowd, I think the major probably is 22, 24, 25 years old and jumping up and yelling and screaming like
It's real.
like it's real.
Yeah. I had Peter for his birthday. I had to take him to down in Providence to see the cage match between Hulk Hogan and somebody else. Hulk won.
Of course.
What a surprise. Sitting in back of me was 35-ish, 40-ish guy. And he brought his mother with him. See, Mom, I told you he was fast. Look at him, Mom, running around the ring. Mom, look at that jump. I told you he's the best wrestler ever. And she's just going, yeah, yep, yeah, yeah. There's as many adults there as there are young people.
Oh, today it's all adult.
And they got the IQ, some of them are about the same as a flower pot.
Yeah.
But it keeps them off the streets. But I had to put up with. I had to pay extra for pay-per-view for the Royal Rumble.
Rumble? Oh my God.
Oh. And I had to sit through that with the boys.
Yeah, but you're doing it with the kids. That's
They're bouncing off all 4 walls
Yeah.
and yelling and screaming, and I'm hoping that maybe I'll have a stroke and be taken away.
Mine were never too much into the wrestling part. They was big into $6 Million Man. I remember that one.
Oh, the $1 Million Man.
The man.
No, $6 Million Man.
Because when he was little, he called him the $6 Man. I said, I think he's a little bit more than that. And he all those Hasselhoff with the guy where they had the car that talked.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. How about Jake the Snake Roberts?
Yeah. Oh my God. Another one. Oh.
And then Jake was interviewed not that long ago talking about his career. And they said, so where did you develop your love for snakes? He said, I hate the damn snakes. He said, it's something I had to do. He said, it made me sick to my stomach. I hated touching them. I hated doing anything with them. So much for that.
When I was a kid, our wrestling came from WCCO in Minneapolis. And it was the Vern Gagne
Oh, yeah.
show.
Vern Gagne.
Vern Gagne was always humping his Vern Gagne vitamins. It was sort of like Mr. Hercules. And he'd be strong and he'd be all this. And every 10 minutes he'd pull up that bottle of vitamins. See, kids, you take this, you can be like me.
I
And
hate to interrupt you. I got to do this
Go
before
ahead.
I leave it. Early on, black and white TV,
Yep.
we watched Saturday Night Wrestling from Chicago with Jack Brickhouse and Vince Lloyd.
Yep.
Did you see those
we
shows
got
too?
those two out of
Yeah.
the Midwest, yeah. And then the bad guy was a guy named Henning.
Okay.
He was always the evil guy. And Henning got beat every week. It didn't matter. Poor Henning, he always got the hell beat out of him. But by Vern Gagne. Then they started bringing, there was a couple other characters, the Crusher. He came from Chicago. And he had the claw. Oh, the deaded.
Oh.
He would get to see it.
Yeah.
And they, of course, they'd give up. They couldn't
Oh, they
stand
couldn't
it.
stand it.
And Crusher was always telling the stories about his old man. He said he'd make me go down to the bar and buy him a bucket of beer. But he didn't know. He says, I'd drink most of it coming home, and I'd fill it up with water. But he never knew the difference because he had about 2 or 3 buckets already. And it's this stupid.
The execution. Or not the executioner.
Yeah, there was an executioner.
Yeah. Who was The Undertaker?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was a beauty, too.
Oh. And he's shaking his head in there.
Oh, gosh. And I have a poster, a big poster of Randy Savage. Randy, what the hell was he? Randy what? Macho Man.
Yeah. Yeah, we got.
Randy Macho Man Savage.
Yeah.
And it's autographed.
Oh boy.
I got it autographed for Peter. I thought he'd like it. Oh, yeah, that's great. It's up in the attic someplace.
Have you seen any of that series on Vice? I think is the channel. Dark Side of, and
No.
they got one called Dark Side of the Ring, and it's stories about these guys and what they went through and how they sometimes their life fell apart and they turned into drugs and alcohol and it's interesting.
Randy Macho Man Savage. He's dead. Mm-hmm. I mean, so many of the wrestlers have died. Well, if you were pumping steroids into your veins in the bushel barrel size.
Yeah, a lot of them ended up with heart attacks and stuff and killed them.
How long are you going to live,
Mm-hmm.
And then get bounced around from pillar to post. But, that had to hurt when Hulk picked you up and body slammed you from about 6 feet up and slammed you down. I mean, I don't care how well conditioned you are and how long you practice how to fall and everything.
Oh, I know.
It still's going to hurt.
And they jump off that top rope and
do
2 loops in the air and then land on a table and break the table. I mean,
the quality of the show today is tumbling downhill.
well, I can make it worse.
Oh,
Here.
boy.
6 charged with smuggling goose intestines from New York.
Now.
6 people were arrested in New York on Tuesday on charges of illegal importing goose and duck intestines from China. That's intestines, folks, as in guts. In some cases, by hiding them under packaged rattlesnakes or mislabeling them as pet grooming products. It's not a little package. According to the complaint, 1,966 cartons of goose and duck guts they've intercepted. Now, here's the kind I don't understand. They were going to restaurants in the New York City area.
It's got to be an ethnic group that buys this stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Chinese restaurants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. What is They had originally went to Los Angeles International Airport, and then they were flown to the Kennedy International via a major U.S. air carrier. These things are illegal. There's certain things that you can't import. Do they carry? I don't know.
Bungo,
I don't know what the hell
disease or
duck
whatever.
guts and goose guts carry, but
also too were these slaughtered humanely.
Yeah.
Mercy. Well, by the way, in my little opening monologue, they expect President Biden to hone in on getting the rich to pay their fair share. So guess what?
you have to pay more.
I did a little research. There was something on TV about it, and I wrote down whoever it was that did this, one of the big banks. Oh, I forget who the hell it was. Anyway, I got a great website.
Yeah.
The top 1% of the population pay 46% of all income taxes collected.
Yeah.
The top 5% pay 63% of all income taxes collected. The top 25% pay 89% of all income taxes collected. In other words, the 75% of the people are riding for free. The bottom 50% pay 2% of all taxes
Yeah.
collected. And he's talking about the rich paying their fair share. Now, if he wanted to get on a soapbox and say, look, they're avoiding a lot of taxes, there's a lot of deductions
That's
and
right.
all
I
of
think
that.
that's where they should go.
And then you say, well, who passed the legislation to give them those deductions? And who's paying the lawyers to find those deductions? You know, it's not coming for free.
Are your taxes done?
Yeah,
Well, mine are too. H&R Block did.
H&L Block up in Franklin.
Well, I went up to Norwood,
Oh, no.
right on Route 1 there.
Yes, I did. I went up Tuesday, and the guy couldn't have been better.
Yeah, we've used the same. Well, this is the second person we've had. We had some guy that was teaching finance, I think, at Framingham State or something, and he had been doing that, and he's decided last year, not to do it anymore. So we got Maria. She's the nicest person you ever want to meet, and we'd have done all right if I would have stayed away from Plain Ridge.
Well, it's a little story. I went up to H&R Block, and the lady that works there Saturdays, she just works Saturdays and just works during tax time
Okay.
because they shut down. And she said, we got talking. She was Gabby. There was nobody coming in. And she said, tell you what. She says, rather than come on a Monday, why don't you come on a Tuesday? I'll put you with the best guy that we have. You know, he's a great guy. All the guys are good, technically. This guy's got a real good personality. He's a lot of fun. So I did. And the guy was great. He was 70 maybe, 65, and retired. And he works the tax season. And that's it.
Yep.
He's on commission, and he's busy from 9 to 5.
But it's so much easier just going to somebody like that. All right, sign here, and then they press a few buttons, so it's filed.
Okay, and so he said, who had you been using before? I said, well, my brother, but he's a CPA, but he finally threw up just said, no, that's enough. I'm retiring. Good night.
For years, Monica worked part-time with H&R Block.
Yeah.
And then, as things went on, my stuff got a little more complicated because I was self-employed and had a business and all kinds of things. And it got more difficult, and she still start fuming and fussing over. Took hours and hours and hours, and then I said, "That's it. Listen to this.
Can I deduct this? Can I deduct that?
I'm not listening to this all anymore. So we'll let somebody else do it." And that's how we started going.
It was my first time up there, and he was great.
Yeah, they are.
Because Susie prepared for the taxes the way that we did with Tommy.
Yeah.
And so he says, okay, now, well, we don't need this. Nope, don't need this. All right, no, don't need this. Okay, all right, this is what I need here. Okay, now let's see. This, nope, don't need anything else. So when you come next year, this pile, don't bring any of it to me.
Don't need it, yeah.
He said, you're not going to itemize your deductions. He said, I don't need to know. And neither does the government.
Yep.
How much you gave to charity or stuff like that, because you're not able to deduct it. Anyway, it was a very good experience. He was a nice guy, and I'd recommend him to anybody.
Oh yeah, I was always pleased with him.
Yeah.
And when they file, it doesn't take long for it to get the money comes back.
My brother used to. Once I signed I didn't even sign it. He signed it. But once we took care of all that, I'd get it like in a week, 10 days.
Yeah, the state comes back. State came back immediately.
Yeah, because they pay you back first, and then check you out later.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's why 2 years later you might get called up for a interview.
Update, folks.
Yep.
Remember I told you, be careful if you're dealing with Steward Healthcare. They double billed for $250 for a service.
Yep.
We don't have it yet. Every month next month on the 5th we'll write the check.
Yep.
Then the 5th goes by, and again, next month the 5th. It's always next month. But this time the story changed.
What, for the better?
I don't think so.
Oh dear.
This time they said they will credit my credit card because it was on a credit card.
Okay.
Well, at least they didn't say they're going to write a check. So they're getting a little more creative now. But they haven't credited that credit card yet in 3 weeks. And that's instantaneous. All they got to do is press a button.
That is not the trick of the week.
No.
No.
They just changed the story. They got tired of telling people they'll send them the check. So I really doubt I'll ever see that.
I would not plan on that being a windfall to take up to Plain Ridge.
No. But I intend to pursue a little bit if I can even I can't embarrass them, but I mean, it's just to make people aware.
You can't even take them to small claims court.
Oh, you could.
Oh, you could, but nothing's going to happen.
No, but because you're going to cost you $40 or $70 to file it, and then they won't show, and they'll get a judgment against them.
Yep.
But they'll ignore the judgment, so you can't do a damn thing about it. So you're just out the filing fee is all it is. But I am going to contact there. I found 3 or 4 now. Channel 4, Channel 5, Channel 7's got one. There's this Murphy guy. They said, if you got a problem, let us know. We'll contact them. And if nothing else, we'll put a little blurb in the paper about how bad they are. So I give them a little bad publicity.
I think you'll find out they have no shame at all.
They have none.
None.
When they have a CEO that has $65 million worth of boats and 2 jets.
By the way, Do you need $25,000? $25 million for a fishing boat?
Well, to be fair, the fishing boat was only 15.
Oh, 15, I'm
The,
sorry.
the yacht was 40. So it was $55 million in boats.
$15 million.
$15 million
boat.
fishing boat.
Fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It said it had everything you could, is custom designed.
Those better be gold-plated
Oh,
striped
absolutely.
bass that you're catching.
And now they found that the two jets that they own are both like 12 passenger and 18 passenger. They're in values over $100 million. So, well, they said they needed him. And so whoever wrote the article said, I got the inside information on those planes. He said, all I needed was the tail number. Once I had the tail numbers, it's public record when they file flight plans where they went. He said, I don't know what they were doing in Cancun, someplace else, south of France, a festival here and a thing here, and these people, the manifests were not hospital people, but they were corporate people, and they were wives and women, and not sexual women, but a group of wives from the corporation. And he said, that planes, they were going to fun places at the expense of Stewart Healthcare.
Yeah, where was the corporate benefit to that?
Yeah.
Keep the
Well,
wives
now-
contented?
Once this was exposed, the two jets are now for sale.
Oh, dear.
In case you were interested, I thought
No, I do have an empty spot in my backyard. I could park a jet.
the 15 passenger or 18 passenger.
Let's go for the 18.
Okay.
Yeah, I could take more friends that way.
I think that's a Citation 5 or something.
It's not the one that the guy lost control of and crashed and killed all 5 people on board here recently.
No, that's much bigger than that.
Okay. Well, I'll have to think about that.
I was thinking about getting one. If you get one, I'll get the other.
Okay. Be his and hers boats.
Yep. I can.
Beautiful. Well, sometimes I get to thinking that you and I really peddle some first-class wisdom here on the
Oh,
show.
absolutely. Where else are you going to find out about goose guts?
But I live with a young lady, Susie, my dear wife. She can come to the point better than we can sometimes. And here's 2 little bits of proof. She said to me after watching Fox News, you know, this forgiving of student loans, the loans that should be forgiving are for nurses and doctors first. She said, that's what we have a shortage of.
Yeah, we do. That the forgiving of student loans bites my butt, quite frankly.
It is ridiculous because it only helps the wealthy.
Yeah. Well, it's not. It could help somebody that's needy, but there's no definition. There's no. It's not means tested.
Right.
And so you got kids out there that are parents are multimillionaires that have a student loan, getting it just dismissed, and now you're setting a precedent. Who in their right mind would today take out a student loan and pay it back?
No one.
No one.
No one.
Hang on, because you don't know what's going to happen here. It might all or part of it being forgiven. So why pay it back?
And not only that, but the wealthy people have got lawyers,
Yep.
and the lawyers say, by the way, Susie and Bobby are both in graduate schools now. You took out big loans, right? Right. Don't pay them back.
Yep.
They'll get forgiven one way
Or
another.
the other. Yeah, that's right. I do not like that. That and reparations are 2 things that I cannot justify.
Here's another. bit of wisdom from the bride. Hackers. I was raving about hackers. She's having trouble getting, her doctor is having trouble sending a prescription to my drugstore. The drugstore got hacked,
Yeah, they did.
and they have still not fixed it 100%. So she was raving, and she said, you know what? The hackers are the same as the jackasses that point lasers at airplanes.
Yeah, they are.
She said they hack medical records just for fun.
Yep.
Just so they can
just cause
do it.
chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? We've got stocks that are going up by leaps and by bounds. Microsoft, just the great seven, and AI is busting onto the scene. Well, I hope that AI can figure a way that when you're hacked, they can find the hacker immediately.
Yeah, that would be.
And
But
I would,
we all get hacked. I mean, the
Yeah.
first time, I'm not a computer person. You're not a
Not a-
computer person. Andrew out there, he is. But we don't know hack 'em or smack,
yeah.
And I used to get it earlier when my son gave me an iPad, and that's the first time I had ever dealt with the internet and stuff. Oh, I'd get these warnings. I said, what the heck? What? Huh? My son would say, it's bogus. He said they're looking for something. And they actually look like a real, it would look like an Amazon bill. Or we got one from these guys that set up Nerd Patrol or Geek Squad.
Oh, Geek Squad. Okay.
Yeah, I actually was calling the company. They said, we didn't send you no bill. And I thought, oh, wait a minute here. And I got one the other day. I was doing something, it come on the screen. You have been controlled. I was doing something, we're trying to go to Amazon. We have Apple engineers standing by to talk to you to fix this. Do not try to turn your machine off. If you do, you will lose all your data, all your records. Well, I don't have any records on it.
It will wipe out the entire hard drive.
Yeah, that was before, yeah. We have engineers standing by, just waiting for you to call. Oh, yeah, when you call, they want to say, well, all right, what's your social security number? Okay, where does this? We'll press this, and we'll...
Patrick was telling me it's even more subtle than that. They get into you. They want your phone number. Well, guess what? They probably can get it right off.
We get that anyplace.
Yep. So then, from the phone number, they can access something else.
Yep.
And then they can access something beyond that. So he said, when you get these calls, he said, be very rude. Hang up immediately.
Yeah, don't give them that.
Because if you give them 20 seconds, they're liable to get some piece of information. By the way, we were talking about how mistakes and misunderstandings happen between the foreign languages. I've had this for a long time, and I've been wanting to say it on the air. Pepsi's slogan, Pepsi brings you back to life.
Oh, boy.
When translated into Chinese, means
Imagine.
Pepsi brings dead ancestors back from the grave.
I did see that. Like Chevy years ago, named that Chevy 2 with a Nova.
Yeah,
In Spanish, that was no go. All
yeah.
right, I got one that we got to catch on. 'cause
Okay.
It's time dated. Or it is. We are getting a total eclipse of the sun.
Yes.
total. But we got to put it out now because it's coming already 4/8.
That's
A month.
April 8th to
Yeah,
us.
April 8th
bozos.
of 24. But if you miss that one, Bill and I aren't going to be around. It's 20 years for the next one, but we probably will not be up.
Don't
We'll probably be
think-
too old to go out and sit outside and watch it.
We'll just go outside and sit and drool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they do have some warnings. Of course, don't look into it without a
But
filter.
people do.
Yeah, and don't try to make your own filter or believe you can do this and that. It has to be a real filter. And the big thing now is they're saying, don't put your camera out and say, I'll just take a picture of it. It will burn the guts out of your direct like that, holding on your iPhone or your camera on your telephone.
Oh
Don't.
boy.
But you can get a filter.
Like welding glasses.
I don't know. It's some kind of filter. I don't know.
There was something was said once about welding glasses. I think they said even those are not good.
Yeah, yeah, because there's somehow, I'm not a techie, but I do know you can get that filter from Amazon. You can use it for your own thing, or it snaps on your phone. It's called Solar Snap, and it's $17 if you're really interested to looking at it. To me, I'm not going to be getting a filter to see it.
No, it'll probably rain that day anyway.
I'll watch it on TV.
There you go. Man.
But we haven't had a total eclipse here for a long time.
Oh, it's been a long time, is right.
And to get a total, that's
I was in high school when we got it, and we taught make a box and
Oh,
put
yeah.
a hole in the box, and then look at the wall behind. Needless to say, I didn't bother with that. By the way, a new dating, one of the dating internet dating companies, ran sort of a questionnaire about what do you talk about on your first date, and they basically said, here are the important things for you to talk about on your first date. Okay? Find out how much income he makes. Find out what his credit score
this
is.
is from the feminine viewpoint here.
And have you ever been bankrupt?
That's
Ask those 3 questions before anything else is discussed.
some kids should know that. You know, I used to tell my son, I said, you can marry a rich girl just as easy as you can marry a poor one.
I preached to all of that. My sisters did very well.
Well,
But
and Monica and I both laugh because she
Yeah.
says, I thought you had money, and I said, I thought you had money, and neither one of us had any money.
guess again.
Yeah, 5.
Okay. Under President Biden, credit card debt is up 47%. That's not a good number.
I'm not sure that's Biden, but that's a fact of life. We're becoming a cashless society. And people, particularly young people today, are playing a very dangerous game of charging, and not bringing that balance down because they don't have to.
The thing
they're-
is that with inflation, guess what's happened to the rates that the credit card companies charge you? 29.99%
Yeah, credit
was
cards
one that I
have
got
been-
the other day.
Well, that's what most of them all are now.
And if you fall into that trap, Dwayne, you'll never get out of it.
It's like borrowing
Never.
money from the mafia. You can never catch up. The vig is so high.
Yep.
Just to paying off the interest all the time.
Biden says he's done all he can to secure the border. He said that on 131. But here's the interesting thing I have left. Goldman Sachs, big investment bank, one of the second
I know.
biggest.
Yeah, I know.
They rate their workers annually.
Yeah.
The lowest grading, 5%, are laid off.
Yeah, they're not the only ones that do that.
I think that is an extremely sound.
It's a weeding process.
That's right.
Yeah, it is.
What would happen if they did
IBM
this?
had done that for a while.
Yeah. What would happen if they did this at the MBTA?
Oh my God.
They'd have trouble getting 5
You can't. Yeah,
lowest ones.
That's right. You can't have 5 on the other end at MBTA. But that MBTA is a perfect example of patronage
Oh,
and cronyism.
yeah.
For years and years and years, and probably still now, I don't know for sure, but it used to be, it's not what you knew, it's who you know. And you always got a job with them. And it wasn't working, it wasn't manual labor, laying tracks or anything. It was always some administration job. Well, these people got into the positions where their decisions were starting to make difference. They're unqualified.
Yeah.
And that's what you got today. You got
That's
one
right.
hell of a big mess.
Well, you have got the absolute living example of the Peter Principle.
In persify, in stone.
Yeah. Remind me when we're off the air, because the people are still alive and all that, of an example of patronage and what it buys you.
I know somebody that got appointed to the Massachusetts tax department. Couldn't read and write. Barely.
The sad part about that is I believe it.
Yeah. Because he knew some politician, or they were.
Well, oh,
Ooh,
God.
my friend. Good times are coming to a close here.
Are we about all done? 1 minute, eh?
This better be a gem here.
This is it, my gem of the day.
Okay.
Words of advice from my friend Frank Buchanan. I found this in one of my notebooks. Bill, don't get involved with politicians. They're all the same. They're corrupt, power-hungry, egotistical louts, and are not to be trusted. They're like bad dogs. Don't let them get close or they might bite you. Stay away from them. Keep your hands in your pockets and keep whistling.
Amen. That's damn good advice.
Frank knew what he was talking about. And one more
Yes,
thing.
he did.
Republicans smile more than Democrats.
Yeah.
And Republican women are prettier because they're happier and project it.
That's true.
Yeah. By the way, that was a Danish study of American people.
I'd like to go out saying, Milton, hang in there strong. Remember 1776? Dedham's going to be behind you. Rentham's going to be behind you. It's going to be a revolt in this state. The state does not have the right to tell you everything that you have to do. Hang in there, Milton.
Man, I'll tell you, I'm all for it.
Me too.
Well, folks, it's been a pleasure being with you again today. We thank you for tuning in. And if there's anything that you would like Dwayne and I to discuss, drop a call here to the station. It's 508-520-2780. And just say, here's something I want those two bozos to talk about. And we'll talk about it.
That's right.
I'll bluff our way through it.
Or else you can maybe even come and sit with us. And
Now, there's another possibility, too, that if you would like to come and share some wisdom with us and chat with us, we'd love to have you.
but be prepared for celebrity status.
That's it.
That's it.
Exactly.
Yep.
It would be fun. We'd
Okay.
love to have you.
Everybody think spring.
And on that note,
Oh.